Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new game of StarCraft II Heart of the Swarm. Today we got a first-person video on demand for a game that I played last night actually, and it was a game versus a Terran player named Booster Como. I'm actually forgetting to say GLHF right here, so it's not actually me being BM. But in this game we're going to be talking about Roach Baneling busting in Zerg versus Terran. Now, I made a video about Roach Zergling Baneling bust in ZVT. Or a Zergling Roach Baneling bust rather, and honestly I've been doing that build order quite a lot. Zerg vs Terran is a really tricky matchup for me right now because I feel like the Widow Mines are absolutely destroying pretty much everything that I can be doing. So I can play a straight up macro game, but as soon as there's a lot of Widow Mines involved, it just becomes incredibly tricky for me. And people that have been watching the live stream have occasionally seen me getting a little bit upset with that. Obviously I'm not rage quitting or anything, but you know, I get a little bit upset sometimes. So every now and then, this was actually played at TV Lost. This was one of the last games of a gaming session, but every now and then I like to bump out a Roach Baneling bust. Now, actually this gaming session was around 8.5 hours long. It was absolutely insane. I think it's the longest streaming session that I've ever done on Twitch TV. So I managed to stream for close to 9 hours in total. And this was one of the very last game. I was actually super tired at this point. So I make a bunch of sloppy mistakes. The first one right here, going for a 15 spawning pool. A 15 spawning pool is absolutely terrible in ZVT. Unless your micro is not very good and you know that of yourself, and you know that you will pretty much lose everything versus Reaper harassment, that is not a bad idea to go for a 15 pool, but honestly, the 15 hatchery is so much better. So, I'm actually that tired at this point in the game that I'm actually going for a spawning pool first for no apparent reason whatsoever. So that's the first little mistake that I make. I actually check out my opponent right now and did using the little button in the top right corner, and I figure out, oh, he's actually a Terran player, not a Protoss player, so good job Lowko for doing that. Going to be getting my gas geyser at a standard timing, and I'm just going to start my queens like it is a normal game. So, not the very best play so far by me, but either way, not really the biggest deal either. The difference between a 15 hatchery and a 15 spawning pool first, followed up by the 15 hatchery or the 15 spawning pool, is pretty much just a drone. That is basically the entire difference. So, the most annoying part, however, is not having to creep on the low ground. So let's say my opponent was going for some sort of proxy with a bunker on the low ground. It would have been extremely tricky for me to hold any sort of aggression, just because I don't have to creep to block out any sort of bunkerage. He could literally, let me actually take control of the camera, he could literally put a bunker right there, or right here, or pretty much everywhere where normally would be creep. And let's say he put it right there, it would be extremely hard for me to surround that with Zerglings, because he actually has coverage of the hatchery and the gas geyser in the back. But other than that, 15 spawning pool, not really the way to go. You would usually want to open up with a 15 hatch. However, I'm going to just follow it up normally, going to get my second queen, and I realize, oh shit, my Zerglings are way earlier than normal, so I should probably use them defensively instead. So I'm going to put them on the creep, going to try and use those the best I can. So here the first Reaper comes in, this completely standard play by my opponent. I did realize there was a CC out on the low ground, so my opponent is most likely not going to really use that many resources to doing damage right here. So he's probably just gonna make 1 or 2 Reapers and then go back into making a factory with a tac lab or with a reactor, most likely with a reactor, to bump up some Hellion aggression. Now, the reason why I really enjoy Zergling Roach Baneling busting in ZVT is because Terran players are playing extremely greedy right now. Terran players are really going for really quick third command centers, or playing some really tricky Void, or what are they called? Not Phoenix or Void Ray, what are they called? The Banshee play. A lot of really tricky Banshee play, and it's honestly something that you can just punish by going for a Roach Baneling bust. Now, the thing is, though, with Roach Baneling play, is that it sort of gets denied by any sort of safe play. Let's say my opponent is going for a quick siege tank, or my opponent is going for just standard Widow Mine play. It is going to be extremely hard to actually hold any sort of aggression. So here we go, my opponent is still being annoying with his little bit of Reaper harassment. My Zergling speed is gonna kick in soon, so I will actually be able to start a third base really quickly as well. Now, I'm actually gonna go for the Roach Baneling busting. I've decided it right now because I'm tired, because I've been playing for long, and because I really don't want to deal with late game ZVT. So here we go, my Zerg vs Terran, or my Zergling speed is done. I'm going to be getting my third base up right as soon as I can. My opponent is gonna try and snipe it. Oh shit, he actually does get it. I forgot about that part. But he is managing to put it down. I am actually going to start harassing him a little bit, and I do manage to pick off the Reapers. Going to be starting my third base. As you know, I'm not really going to be using that for anything but like a backup plan, so I can start the droning up if I want to. If my Roach Baneling bus does not turn out to seem as good as it used to be. I can't actually drone behind it. So that's basically why I'm getting the third base up. And also, you know, to deny him, he's thinking, okay, he's going for a standard third base timing, nothing to worry about. When in reality, there's going to be a lot of units at his front door really soon. Now, I do see there's a lot of Hellions out already, which is a little bit weird because he hasn't moved them across the map just yet. Usually, Terran players will instantly move them across the map as soon as they can, but nope, not this Terran player, so I'm getting a little bit hesitant right now. As you can see, on the production tab, my opponent is going for the blue flame upgrade, which is extremely tricky to deal with as a Zerg player. So luckily for me, I have my Roach Warren, I'm starting a massive amount of Roaches right now, and as you can see, the Roaches are actually timed just that way, that it will actually hit right before the blue flame Hellion upgrade can be done. Now my Baneling nest is done. I'm going to start a few more overlords, going to reinforce all these Roaches that I just created with a whole lot of Zerglings to actually morph those into Banelings at his watchtower. At least that is the plan. But obviously, I saw a lot of Hellions. I don't really know what he's going for. I haven't seen a third command center, so I honestly don't even know whether or not this push is gonna work. But it turns out, the Hellions are actually running straight into my Roaches. However, Hellions are a lot faster, so I'm a little bit hesitant right now once again, because honestly, those Hellions can pretty much, if I miss micro a little bit, they can pretty much burn my entire mineral line within a matter of seconds. So you can see I'm going to be following this build up with a whole lot of Zerglings, going to be morphing, or at least trying to morph them into Banelings at his watchtower. But once again, my opponent is still being annoying, and here we go. His Hellions are going to try and morph into my mineral line at my natural, and I only have a few Zerglings to deal with this, so this requires pretty much perfect micro from here. I'm losing a few drones right now, but I do manage to trap all the Hellions in my mineral line, pretty much all of them, having a few Roaches to help out, as well as the Queen, as well as reinforcing Zerglings. And luckily for me, I managed to clean that up with 5 drone losses, which is definitely the best I could have hoped for the amount of Hellions that got out right now. So here we go. I don't actually know if my push is gonna be working out, so I am going to re-rally everything to my third base, and if I realize, okay, this Roach Baneling aggression is not gonna do anything, I will simply go ahead and drone up the third base behind. If I do manage to kill my opponent right here, however, I will obviously try my best to do just that. Now, I'm going to have to be a little bit careful because Banelings will obviously die to Blue Flame Hellions extremely quick. Here we go, I'm going to be walking in with my Banelings, and I will get a huge connection right there, pretty much killing so many workers that it basically cleans him up right away. 13 workers going down, still having units in his mineral line, and my opponent decides to leave the game. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next video.